Welcome back to another MultiVersus video. You guys know what's up. You clicked on the video. We're doing a tier list today. Stripe just came out about 3 days ago now, so we've kind of got an idea for his early balance, but keep in mind everything said about Stripe, if you're watching this video in the future, is just like kind of early opinions. Anything that anybody across the game's player base is saying about Stripe right now may not be accurate with time, but as of right now, we kind of have a good general idea. Now that it's been a few days, we've got an idea of like his moveset, his combos, everything like that. So today I'm going to dive deep into the meta, talk about the characters you should be using, the characters that you shouldn't be using, and who's really the shining stars in the current balance. We're gonna go left to right, starting with Batman. Batman is still a very solid S tier. Batman is incredibly strong right now, incredibly easy to play. He's got a very good like get out of jail free card with his battering, because kind of if you're getting comboed and you're kind of in a hit stun combo and you have like a split second when a combo is breaking that you can do something, you can just throw your battering and then completely shift the entire fight with just one move. Battering is also just like incredibly easy to hit. You can throw it out and then run around the map and it'll kind of like chase you around the map, and good Batman players can figure out how to do this really well to the point where it's like he's untouchable while he's running around the map. He's also got the grapple for recovery. The grapple has started to be dealt with a lot better from people as they've played against more and more Batman, because he's been in the meta for a while. So the grapple is less effective now as a combo starter. If you're a Batman main, you should probably be mainly using it just for recovery. I will say this is the most balanced that we've seen Batman in a while. You know, if you've watched my videos before, that I've always thought Batman is like incredibly broken for the past month or so, but more recently he started to get some balance changes along with some of the other characters just getting buffed up to a level where they can compete with Batman. I don't really think he's like an outlier of someone that's just like this huge meta boss, but I do still think he's definitely sitting in S tier. Next up, we got Arya going into A tier. I haven't actually tried out her most recent change that came out 3 days ago. I've basically only been playing Stripe to get an idea of his balance pretty early, but Arya for a while has just been broken, and I don't mean broken in the sense that she's OP. I mean broken in the sense that she physically doesn't work properly. Her up special attack, people have been falling out of it. People have been going too far. Arya's been going too far. Her dagger throw has been throwing her off the map sometimes. Turned attacks just don't work sometimes. I'm not sure what's up with that. But anyway, Arya's just kind of been a mess for a while, and honestly kind of unplayable because a lot of her game just comes down to RNG. It's either you get really lucky with the up specials and all of them connect and you're kind of dominating, or you get unlucky and you have a game where like 70% of your up specials don't connect, and then it's just really frustrating to try to play as a character that doesn't really work and her combos aren't doing what the combos are supposed to do. But with this most recent change, if the statistics of the most recent patch were correct though, and she's gotten those buffs that they said she did, then I would say that she's definitely sitting in the top of A tier. She's still very strong, although she is a little bit harder to play. People are going to get mad at that one. She's not hard to do combos with, but as the lightest character in the game and one of the slowest characters in the game, it's hard to survive with her. So that's why I'm putting her in A tier and not in S tier. Next up, we got Bugs Bunny, and he's going in S tier. Everybody saw this coming. Bugs is still incredibly good. I don't think that Bugs is like some game-breakingly OP menace character, but he's definitely still on top of the meta. He has been on top of the meta for a very long time. The majority of the MultiVersus pro scene is people complaining about Bugs because he's still so easy to like kind of exploit and abuse right now, because a lot of his combos are just incredibly stupid. Like the one where he spins his little fists around and then does the down hammer, and then spins his fist as a down hammer and keeps you in there for like 20 minutes. And then at the end of it, he hits you with an up hammer that sends you up in the air, or up baseball bat, whatever, that sends you up. Then he can just combo you in the air from there. So it's just like two almost infinite combos strung together. It's just this mess with Bugs. Bugs has incredibly safe gameplay where he can play around his safe, no pun intended. He has his rocket to get back on stage, and they can't really contest the rocket because if they do, they get hit by the absurdly large hitbox. He's got his burrow that he can use whenever he wants to, and when he burrows, you basically have two zones where you have entire map control. You can send projectiles through the burrows. Bugs is just still a very good character. Next up, we have Finn. I'm throwing Finn in the S tier as well. Right now, the meta in general is kind of more of a rush down gameplay style with characters like Finn sitting comfortably in the meta. If you use Finn, you are already one of the fastest characters in the game, and you throw on the Speed Force Assist perk for the 4% extra movement speed, and then you buy the movement speed. I think it's 500 gold in a match, and then you just become this speed demon even with only one stack of speed boots. And I've actually seen a lot of Finns that are able to get up to 2 stacks of speed boots, which makes him just even more hard to deal with. And once he gets that 2 stack of speed boots in game, it's just, you can't deal with him. You can't hit him, you can't combo him, you can't stun lock him. There's not really anything you can do. He just runs around you the entire match. I think that Finn is still a very great pick. He is a little bit harder to use than people think he is. Like the general consensus from the community is that Finn is some easy to play character. I actually think that this is a little bit, this is like some propaganda here, because Finn is not a very easy character to play. I would say he's somewhere in like the mid, like medium tier. He's definitely not like super hard to play, but his aerial combo game is complicated enough and involves like multiple different attacks and using his neutral kick, especially trying to find ways to utilize that properly, along with people falling out of his backpack right now. And there's still that bug slash glitch where his sword just goes through people. I think that if everything was perfected on Finn's kit right now, he could definitely be like top of S tier, but he still just stays kind of in the middle of S tier. I haven't been sorting these left to right. If I was sorting them left to right, that would probably be where they're at right now. So I'll start sorting them left to right. Next up, we have Garnet. She's still just bad. I don't really even know what to talk about with Garnet. She just kind of sucks. This is rough because I really don't like any character being in C tier. I think we can go ahead and safely take out D tier. D tier is really not necessary right now. There's no like horrible characters, but there definitely is some outliers that stand out among the bottom of the ranks. Garnet just really is not a good character. She doesn't have a great defensive playstyle. She doesn't have a great attacking playstyle. She definitely can't do rushdown. She doesn't have great projectile game. She doesn't really have any amazing armored moves. She just kind of is all around not good. Apologies to any Garnet mains out there. Your time is coming, I hope. Next up, we have Harley, also going in S tier. I would put her at the bottom of this current S tier though. Harley is still just like, ugh, I don't understand why she hasn't been nerfed. Please nerf Harley. She's got the safest map control in the game with her little like exploding box that she can place, which just basically creates an area that is uncontestable until it's broken. Harley also has her up special, which is still, in my opinion, the most broken up special in the entire game. It's just disgustingly good. You can hit people so high up in the air at such low damage and then keep them in the air because you can just spam the move. It comes out quickly. It has a big hit registration area. It does a ton of knockback. It does damage. It just is all around an annoying move. She's also got her projectiles that she can throw, and then when she sticks them to you, she can choose at any time to detonate them. This makes it much harder to dodge than any other projectile because you kind of have to guess when Harley's going to detonate it in order to time your dodge correctly. And if you're running that neutral dodge breaks projectiles perk, props to you, bro, but that is just too situational for me to use, and I feel like it's not really a good perk to use in the current meta because the majority of the time you'd rather be dodging through the projectiles than standing still to break them, but that's a whole different discussion. Harley is still just a powerhouse. Her light attacks combo into each other extremely easily. You don't really have to do any work to combo those light attacks. She is one of the easiest characters in the game and one of the highest impact characters in the game. Next up, we have Jake, and I'm gonna throw him into A tier. Jake has been in S tier for a while, honestly, between A and S, like debatably sitting in that border, but I would say that this is the first update where he's kind of not been an outlier in the meta. Jake is still very good, don't get me wrong. He's got an all-around great kit for controlling the match and controlling the pace of the match. He's got a great kit for defensive play, aggressive play, projectile countering play. He's just kind of got a little bit of everything, but the problem with characters that have a little bit of everything is that they usually don't excel at one thing in particular, and this is what Jake suffers from. I say suffers from as if he's not still an incredibly good character. Jake is still very good. It's just that he's not like an outlier super heavy meta pick. I would put him above Arya though. I forgot I was sorting left to right. Next up, we have Rain Dog going in C tier with Garnet. Rain Dog just isn't very good. As I said earlier, the meta right now within the game is sort of the more fast-paced rushdown playstyle on characters, and Rain Dog cannot do that. He also cannot stop that because his projectiles, in order to make his projectiles any good at all, you have to charge them. And in the time that it takes you to fully charge a Rain Dog projectile, a Finn with Speed Force Assist and Speed Boots will already have you KO'd twice. Rain Dog is just too hard to get any value out of right now and really an outlier at the bottom of the pack. Next up, we have Shaggy, who is still sitting comfortably in A tier. I would say that he's near the bottom of A tier. A lot of the reason that Shaggy is put this high in my tier list is because he is the easiest character in the game to play. Anybody, even if you've never played Shaggy before, you can pick up Shaggy and probably win a good amount of your matches because he's just very easy. All of his moves are just variations of punches and kicks, which is the simplest to understand and simplest to use ability set in the game. He also just has incredible knockback, incredible recovery. He's extremely heavy for some reason. I don't know why he's as heavy as he is. He's just good at everything, and he doesn't really take any skill to become good at everything. He just is. He just exists on another plane. However, he's not like broken or something or like incredibly strong to the point where he's above the S tier or like even above these two people in A tier. He's more of just like a strong character that's very easy to use. It means he's sitting comfortably in A tier. Next up, we got Steven, who is the first B tier pick. The very times 100 good Stevens can get value out of him, but if you're not that Steven, if you're not Steve LaFlame, you're just not getting value out of him. Steven is a hard pick, a very hard pick, and has a very hard playstyle that you kind of have to practice a lot to even get to the point where you can counter the other B tier and C tier characters, let alone getting to the point where you can counter a Bugs or a Batman or a Finn. So right now, Steven, RIP, he's sitting in B tier. Next up, we got Batman, who I'm also going to put in B tier. This might be an unpopular opinion. There's going to be a lot of players that are coming for me saying, oh, Superman's OP, Superman's OP. People have been saying Superman's OP since the game came out, and I really think it was only applicable when the game came out. He hasn't been broken for the last few patches. I think I've actually put him in A tier in the past few, maybe even B tier. Superman is just not that amazing. I don't know where this like community thought process is coming from. from. The only move that Superman has that was broken was his grab, and it's been so heavily nerfed over the past few patches to the point where it's not OP anymore. Moving on to Tom and Jerry, I'm going to put him in A tier. He's at the bottom of A tier. He's nothing crazy, and he's definitely not as meta as he used to be, but he's still solid for where he is at right now, and I think a lot of people are actually underrating how good he is. I feel like he went from having a lot of crutch moves to suddenly having to actually like put in a lot of effort to get value, and that's like turning people away from the character, when in reality it should just be making you practice more or try to get good at him more. Tom and Jerry is definitely solid. Bottom of A tier. He's nothing crazy, nothing like insanely meta, but he's definitely still solid. Moving on to Wonder Woman, we're going to put her at the top of A tier. I debated putting her at the bottom of S tier, but I do think that as one of the harder picks, she belongs in the top of A tier instead. She's basically just Finn, but a little bit harder because she doesn't have a teleport or a crazy up ability. Wonder Woman has the same kind of fast rush down playstyle, and she also has a very simple kit of just like hitting people, which is the same as Finn because Finn just uses a sword to hit people. Wonder Woman decides to use, she has a sword too, doesn't she? Yeah, so it's literally the same thing. Anyway, Wonder Woman's just a little bit harder version of Finn that's also a little bit weaker, but still like almost on the same tier. Next up, we have Velma going in the bottom of A tier. Velma's still solid, especially in 2v2s. This is mainly a 1v1 centered list, but it's kind of taking some 2v2 factors into account, and Velma is still good in 2v2s, but she's not like incredibly game-breakingly meta anymore, and she actually was never really incredibly game-breakingly meta in 1v1s, and with all of the nerfs that have happened to her, she's definitely like not even in the meta anymore. She's still a okay pick, like you can still have success with her in 1v1s, but you're gonna have to be good with her, which is shocking to say that about a Velma, but yeah. Next up, we have Taz going in the top of A tier. Taz is actually good right now. Like Taz is so heavily slept on. People think Taz is bad because Taz was bad 3 weeks ago. All of these recent buffs that Taz has gotten has pushed him so far up, and people like haven't caught up yet. Like people don't realize how insane he is. Taz literally has the best prio in the game, I swear. Like there's no character that has the hit priority that he has. Taz can take prio over anything with his tornado move or his like what's it, like hog pile or something, I think is what it's called. It's insane. He's got infinite projectiles that he can throw to break you out of that kind of rush down playstyle. Like if you're diving somebody, like if those rush down characters are diving you and you're on Taz, you can just simply, like I know the apple is like doesn't do damage. People think the apple is useless, but it can stop those rush down plays a lot. It can also clink with projectiles like Batarang, which helps to shut down this meta character right here. It can also clink with Harley's plushies, which can help to shut down her. And Taz in general is just a very good character. Like I swear, y'all need to like reset the mentality about Taz and take him as a new character so that you can really realize just how good he is right now. Next up, we have Iron Giant, who I'm going to put towards the top of A tier. Iron Giant is very good right now for 1v1s at a high level and very bad for 1v1s at a low level, but this is more of like a high level centered list. I've gotten a few characters to top 100 and mainly play around the top 1000 area, like on average, I would say. And Iron Giant has like these stupid combos, 2 stupid combos in specific that both involve a grab, where he can literally just KO you instantly from any percent as long as he lands a grab. So he'll just grab you at like 15% and then KO you, and then grab you the next life at like 20% and then KO you. Basically, playing against Iron Giant means beating him up for 20 seconds until he gets that little like shield around him, and then as soon as he gets that shield, you just lose because he grabs you once and it's over. So Iron Giant is just stupid and cheesy at high level, and that grab ability combo needs to be addressed. But the only reason that he's here instead of being an S tier is because at lower levels, I would say actually like the lower 95% of levels, he's horrible and he's just a huge meat bag that you can beat up for the entire match. Next up, we have LeBron, who's going to sit in B tier. I debated putting him in C tier even, but I think that he fits a little bit better in the bottom of B tier. LeBron is not great, but if you're good with him, there's a few like really good combos you can pull off with him that can get like 60-70%, which is kind of insane, but then you just really struggle to do anything besides that. And he doesn't have great recovery. He doesn't really have good projectile game. Like I know he has his basketball, but it's pretty easy to avoid, so it's not that deep. He doesn't have great anything really, so I think he comfortably fits in the bottom of B tier. Next up, we have Morty, and I used to really think Morty was great and like top of the A tier type thing, but the reasons that I thought Morty was good was that he was a really good like all around jack of all trades, covered every angle, covered every range. And then you insert Rick, who came out after Morty and is just better. He also has covering for every range, but he does everything better than Morty. So Morty is going in the top of B tier and Rick is going in. So Morty's going in the top of B tier and Rick is going somewhere in the middle of A tier. I don't think it's too specific where he is in the middle. Rick was very strong, but with these recent nerfs, he got like completely destroyed. I still think that he's here if you're good with him. Rick is a harder character to play, especially with these recent nerfs, but I still think that he can sit comfortably up here in the meta. And then finally, to finish off the list, we have the 2 gremlins, Stripe and Gizmo. As for Gizmo, he used to be really good, but then he got pretty heavily nerfed in the last patch, so I'm going to put him in the bottom of A tier. I still think you can get value out of him and compete with the characters at the top when using him if you're very good, but it's going to be a lot harder now to get value out of him instead of a lot of your moves just kind of connecting when they shouldn't. And lastly, for Stripe, I'm going to put him at the top of A tier, the very tip top of A tier. I don't think think he's broken or like incredibly game breaking, so busted it's not even funny. The character had literally been out for 2 hours when I started seeing posts about how busted and OP he was. It's like, that's not even enough time to memorize their moves yet. Like, I don't know why people are calling him OP already. I do think he's very, very strong though, just coming from somebody that's played him a lot. I probably have, well, like 5, 6, 7 hours on Stripe alone right now. And I've gotten a pretty good understanding for him. If you want to check out some previous videos where I kind of talked about Stripe in depth, you can, but I think he fits solidly into the top of A tier. But yeah, this is going to do it for my final list. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Remember, this is all my opinion, so if you disagree, that's totally cool. This isn't like factual statements about the game. It's just how I feel about the game from my experience. But yeah, if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.